Greetings everyone, I am Dr. J, and I feel like I just want to relax, sit back, enjoy myself for a little bit, so that sounded awkward, but you know what, I'm gonna go with it. So, I, as you could probably tell, have been under the weather the past couple of days. So, I think on Tuesday, I ended up with a high fever and another issue which I won't go into because it's disgusting, and yeah, that knocked me up on my back for a couple of days, and I still haven't fully recovered, so fun times there. So the hope is that I can get my voice back so I can record some Tomb Raider later today, but honestly, at this point, I don't really expect it. It's just a matter of whether it will return by, I think, Tuesday is when I've got stuff scheduled to upload for Tomb Raider. Well, if I can actually get the recording done, but we'll see how it turns out. Anyway, what else did I want to talk about? Let's see. Oh, okay, fine, just freeze up on me. You okay? Okay, fun fact, this was one of the first Let's Plays I ever tried to do. The only problem then was I was using a potato PC, and my current PC isn't much better, so yeah, frame rate's definitely not holding up as well as it should. But, oh man, I'm glad I deleted all that stuff. Ugh, that is not worth looking back on. I mean, not even just for how stupid or funny I was back then, or just how cringy I was. It's just, no, it's just dull. Honestly, not worth the trouble. So either way, we carry on. So, what did I actually want to talk about? Okay, so the main thing that I was thinking of is that I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this, because I've called it Shooting the Breeze because I want it to be a bit more relaxed, where I just play something for fun and just act more natural, take away the expectation of needing to figure out what the heck is going on, and hopefully, because of that, just have a better time with something I'm more familiar with. The problem with that is that, at least for me, it's a bit of a clash with what I'm used to doing, because I talk to myself anyway when I'm playing a video game, even when I'm not recording, just, well, the same reason for why most people talk to themselves when they're driving. Well, at least I assume most people. Maybe I'm just crazy, but some people talk to themselves when they're driving, not necessarily because they have problems with road rage or anything, but because they use it as a means to keep track of where everyone is so that they can be safer, or pretend to be safer at any rate. So, because of that, I was expecting that I could maybe do a little bit of that for this, just enjoy myself, but the problem is, well, I think my main mistake was starting with Heroes in the Storm, but the problem is, when I'm actually talking to someone else and showing stuff off that I'm up to, I'm used to explaining what's going on, and that means that, but because I'm familiar with the game, I'm used to doing it at a higher level, well, at a more, okay, let me start over. Can't even get a good sentence out. So the problem is that I'm used to just babbling along in stuff that makes sense to me because I'm very familiar with the game, but trying to translate that to something that someone who's unfamiliar with the game will understand is a little bit more difficult. So, there, that's what I was meaning to say. So, that's part of the problem I'm having now. I mean, for a game like Torchlight 2, I really don't have to explain a whole lot. I'm shooting monsters, but with awesomeness. And, come on, you. I know I'm hitting my memory a little bit. I know I'm hitting my hard drive a bit hard, but come on. I can just sit back, relax, and shoot up monsters. And you don't need to know too much about the game to know what a Diablo-style game is, so I can just say that and be done with it. But, I don't know, maybe that's the problem for because I originally intended to do this for roguelikes, but it has the same problem that Dota-style games do, in that you really do have a lot that goes on that, if people aren't familiar with it, anything... Was it, though? It was. The problem is that you've got a lot of stuff that, if you aren't familiar with the game, then you could end up being completely lost. So, that's somewhat my worry for when I'm doing this, because I want to try and be informative, but at the same time I'm also doing this just to have fun, so if I'm focused on trying to explain what I'm doing, and just why I was interested in playing this, stop locking up, you piece of junk. Is that really giving me time to relax? I don't know. I'm debating as to what to do with this. This might only be a temporary thing that I do every once in a while. Mostly because I don't want to record Tomb Raider right now with my voice the way it is. But, yeah, either way. It's something that I want to do. It's something I do want to do, but I'm wondering if there's a better venue for it. Or Should I move based on the assumption that you've already played the game? I mean, in all likelihood, if you were interested in watching someone play this game, well, I don't know. It comes down to what exactly you're looking for from your video content. Are you here for the personality, or are you here for the game? And I'm not sure if I have enough of a personality on my own to really be worth watching when it comes to this thing. I don't know. Once that I'm finished killing these guys, I can probably explain a little bit what I'm doing, and hopefully explain why I'm a bit concerned. So, I might as well go into basics. So, this is on the hardest difficulty possible, which is why it's taking me more than a few shots to kill things. And what I'm basically trying to do is experiment with a build that might get this character which I'm playing, which is the Ember Mage, up to hardcore mode. So, which basically means I try and beat the entire game without dying. The problem with the Ember Mage is that it's a class which is very similar to most Magi, in that they do a lot of damage, they can hurt like hell, and they fall over if you breathe on them wrong. So, that really is my concern with this, and I've died a couple of times already in this run due to carelessness, and I haven't even gotten out of the first real section of the game. Well, actually, I've gotten a bit farther than that, but you know what, if you're familiar with this game, you know where I am. But I'm in the first real main dungeon, so nothing to really worry about there. So the idea I had for this build is something that's not necessarily the most fun to play and probably not the most interesting to watch, but mostly revolves around this spell that I keep spamming. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can build the Ember Mage focused around either fire, ice, or lightning, but what I'm doing is focusing on this. So it throws out these bolts, which do a mix of pretty much every elemental damage in the game. And they're also convey a high likelihood of, well, actually, mostly high likelihood of adding some status effect. Burning and poison, I believe, both do damage. Shock means that when you hit them every so often, they'll throw arcs everywhere, which will end up hitting other people, or maybe themselves. I need to look that up. Or freeze, which slows down their movement speed and attack speed. So I upgrade this enough and I can eventually get damage bonuses, as you can see there. And the idea is to just focus on this and doing stuff that could buff this as much as possible. So to that end, I have a few different things that I can do. Each tree has this little passive brand here that when you hit someone under the correct status effect, you do additional damage. So it starts off fairly weak, but once that you get multiple of these bolts hitting the same target, it can add up really freaking fast. So the idea is to get to the point where these are doing a ton of damage, and that's why I'm saving up a skill point right now, because I want to use it for these instead of what I've been focusing on. The problem that these prismatic bolts have is that they're pricey as hell. If I just spam a little bit here, I've already lost half my mana, which is not exactly convenient when this is my primary damage. Right now I have a wand that's giving me mana when I hit stuff, but that's not necessarily something that I want to rely on too much. I might want to consider getting that later. But the idea is to get around that is to use this, which will allow me to get this thing faster. So whenever I'm doing damage, I slowly build this up, and once that it's full, I get a small period where I don't have to worry about mana cost, and everything is going to hurt a lot more. Well, these spells are going to hurt a lot more. So that's the idea of this build. And then I've also got something here which is adding a higher likelihood of status effects to happen. Increases the chance of status effects happening. So that's the general idea. There are a couple of points, are a few areas that I can have a bit more flexibility on, if I'm not mistaken. There's a teleporting spell that I get at level 14, which is actually almost one away at this point. There's a teleportation spell that will allow me to do run around fairly effectively. Still limited by the amount of mana I'm consuming, but at the same time, it should be fairly useful for me. So apart from one point into there and maybe putting something into a more high damage spell, which is just causing more consistent damage, the build is mostly going to focus around that. And I know some people who do play Diablo-style games are going to mention, is this something you looked up? No, actually. I don't like looking up builds if I don't have to. I know I say I love Diablo-style games, but I don't play them all that similarly to how I've seen others play it. I think I played Path of Exile with a friend a while back, and I was shocked at the sheer ruthless efficiency that he was wanting to move through the game with. It was actually kind of impressive in a way. just how, okay, I walked a little too close. So it was kind of impressive just how quickly he was moving through everything. So, I don't know. I like to take my time. I like to enjoy, the game. I like to enjoy the pacing, and I tend to be more of a purist when it comes to mods, because, honestly, usually the game on its own is enough to sustain my interest. And given how much time I've spent with the game, if I'm not being lazy on editing, I might throw up how much time I've spent with it, but you get the point. I've spent quite a while with this game. And mostly just trying to get hardcore runs on the Evermage to work. I've tried a difficulty lower than mine, and the only time I've been able to get a hardcore run to work on that is by playing the Engineer class, which is basically a heavy-hitting... I'm trying to... Ah, shoot, didn't mean to hit that mana potion. Which is basically a heavy-hitting tank-ish character who has a lot of durability spells and a nice little heal bot that allows him to sustain quite a bit. It also gives you mana later, which is really useful as well. So you've been basically put out a constant stream of damage, and though it's not nearly as equal to what I can put out as an Ember Mage, it definitely hurts. So the way that I won on hardcore was actually kind of cheap. What I effectively did is I just did nothing but spam a particular ability, pretty much what I'm doing now, except with something called Spider Mines, which throw out what you would expect. They throw out 3 little spider mines that go to an enemy, and they do a decent amount of damage on contact, but they also do a decent amount of damage over time. So basically, I just ran circles around the boss, trying to keep my shield up, while trying to keep an energy shield to mitigate damage. All the while, I know I probably wasn't as suboptimal for people who play this game. Shut up, I don't care. But basically, the whole time I was just running around trying to keep a health barrier up while using a shield in order to try and mitigate what damage was coming in, so that I could continuously throw out spider mines and eventually kill this guy. And this was an ability I had put a single skill point into. It can get kind of nasty later on. I'm experimenting now with another hardcore character that's trying to focus more on those spider mines, because that probably is the best way I'm going to do it. But either way, something to do on my spare time while listening to a podcast. That's mostly what I've been doing for Shooting the Breeze at this point. I know I shouldn't be playing a Diablo-style game when I'm listening to something, because I need to pay attention, because it's a team game, blah blah blah. You can't tell me what to do, you ain't my daddy. And even then, actually, my dad probably thinks I'm... Actually, yeah, he has said himself that I'm a little crazy for listening to a podcast while playing video games. And honestly, he's not entirely wrong, even as someone who has spent even more time with this game than I have. Admittedly, he doesn't play nearly as many games as I do, but still, you get the point. Okay, oh, we've got a mini-boss over here. Great. Technically, they're called champions, but they're nasty buggers. So, if he could just... Okay, so... Come on, give me charge bar. I need it. I need it. At least I've got something that's giving me a chance to reflect missile attacks, so that means he's slightly less effective, but still, not something I want to count on since I have... Well, I do have a slight amount of regen, but 1 point every second is not exactly going to make a huge difference, so... Not something I want to worry about. Okay, you can stop now. You are mean. You are very mean. Okay, pet, get on your feet. The pet AI irritates me, and I'm half tempted to check to see if there's a mod for that, or maybe just mod it myself if I can figure out how to properly program AI. Man, I've got a ton of stuff. Alright, go run back to town. Oh dear, I've got a ton to look at. I'll look at it after I'm done here, hopefully. But the thing about the pets is that they've got 3 AI patterns that you can see over here. Aggressive, which means that they go after enemies as soon as they see them. Defensive, which means they only go after enemies once that you or it has taken damage. And passive, where they basically sit there and look cute. Or in my hawk, just sit there and look awesome. So, there are a lot of action. And the pets, for the most part, are only cosmetic, and I'm tempted to mod that as well. Just to add a bit more of an itch. Well, I don't know. The point of not having the pets give you any sort of stat boost was to not discourage people from playing a certain pet. They wanted it to be purely cosmetic. And I can respect that, but that's probably something that's already been modded in. And if it's already been modded in, I just have to take that and mess with the damage numbers to get something I like. Actually, yeah, that could work pretty well. I don't know. How would you make that work? Because I'd have ideas for the Hawk being able to jump up and down terrain far more effectively, because for some reason even the Hawk and Owl can't do that. But stuff like that. And I'm an idiot. I'm burning. Okay. I'm not gonna try and do my turret impression. Okay, I'm gonna try. Hang on. I can't do high-pitched. Okay. No, no more. No. No, that's not gonna happen. Oh, that's a mimic. Ugh. Oh, now my sinus is starting to clear up, but never enough. Maybe that's how I clear them out? Just try and do as high-pitched a portal turret voice as I can? Oh, that sounds actually kind of stupid. I'm not gonna do that to myself. Either way, we carry on. So, who else wants to die? You do! I know there are a bunch of monsters over this way. But I'm not gonna lose that, of course. And my pack's full. Might as well look over this stuff now, then. Okay, at this point, pretty much anything that isn't blue is not gonna be very useful to me. So what have we got? So, real quick, let's look at these. Greens can still be useful. Ooh, that could work. Oh, wow, that's actually really powerful. What do I need for that? I haven't been putting anything into my strength. Crap. Huh. Level 16? Yeah, I haven't been putting much into that. Wow, that's really good. I'm definitely hanging on to that. So, next question. Is this going to be worth replacing? No, I get too much vitality and focus. Let's see. Extra. Yeah, I think this is more worthwhile. And I can put in something else as well. So, I lost a little bit of mana. Don't have anything that would get it back, but... Actually, I'm going to need poison armor later on, I think. So, might as well socket something in there. And that is a straight-up upgrade, so we'll place that. Extra... Let's see. Lose 2 armor for... Actually... Sorry, extra cast speed isn't the worst thing. I lose 2 armor points, but at this point... I think that's an acceptable trade. Especially if it means I'm going to be more likely to find good stuff later. Ooh, that's really good. There's how I get my armor back. Give up a bit of poison damage, but I'm not doing too much poison damage anyway, so it's not the biggest loss. And let's see. 14 armor versus... lose a fair amount of ice armor, and I'm going to need that later. I'll keep what I've got. Alright, let's get back into it. Now that my mana's recharged. Fortunately, I do, again, have an item that's giving me extra mana regen, so hopefully that... I'm pretty sure I still have that thing on. So that'll help for now. But something to consider. At least at this point, the loot doesn't get extremely overwhelming. Oh my god, there's so many things to keep track of. What is this game? But, yeah, well, let's just clear out. And that's it. Alright, let's do this boss fight. And I'll probably end it there. Okay, so we're going to wait for this to expire. We're going to start building our charge bar by hitting these things. Come on, how hard is it to hit that? There you go. Now, hit this thing as well. Knock over these, just for posterity's sake. Alright, let's get in there. Hello, you're ugly. Let's wreck you. Okay, step 1, I think, is get rid of all of his minions to try and mitigate how much insanity this will be. I really wish I had Frost Phase right now. I really wish I had Frost Phase right now. Okay, let's get rid of your pets, or try to. Okay, give my pet a health potion. Alright, now comes the fun part. I'm doing almost no damage to Grail. That needs to change. I'm doing okay. So, you can take this to the face if you don't mind. Should be protected by the terrain here. Okay. Spear throwers, that's fine. Those things are going to be hard to crack and take a fair amount of damage. Actually, shields only work if they're blocking from the front. So actually, I can arc my shots to where I can deal with them, but I'm gonna have to soak a fair amount. Oh dear, he got a direct hit on me. Yeah, I don't have too many potions either. And actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not getting big health potions yet. I'm just have your standard potions at the moment. Oh! Whoa, that reflected! Wow. That was really convenient. Really, really convenient. Okay, you guys are annoying. At least this thing bounces. It's not doing much for me at the moment, but... Die already, please. Okay. Pretty much when my next hit will give me charge, so... Okay, that thing keeps taking off chunks of my health. I can't tell if he killed his own minions or if or if it reflected again. I'm pretty sure it didn't reflect again. That would be weird if it did. I can't remember the exact chance of reflection, but it's not that high. As noted by me taking that huge chunk, that huge hit. Okay, just dealing with the shield bearers and spear throwers, that's fine. Okay, got this back. Let's keep wrecking them. Come on, you. Die already. Well, at least it allows me to clear out his minions effectively enough. Okay. Come on, you. Fall over, please. You're no fun. Well, actually, you are fun, but that's beside the point. Mostly because you keep missing that, except when you don't. Okay, you. Pretty close. I can... the war beasts are gonna get in the way. I don't think I can safely ignore them. Alright, thankfully out of the way for that shot. My pet is being completely useless right now, but that's enough! Only an engineer can use them. That's sad. So, how do these compare? Yeah, that is strictly better. I will take it. Since I don't use other physical weapons, I should be just fine. Mostly just using wands, and I'm mostly just going wand and shield at this point, just for a little bit of extra durability and range. It won't make too much of a difference in the long run, but hey, whatever I can get, right? It's not like I'm exactly investing in vitality at the moment.
I don't know who you have the alchemist. You have a new. Apparently things have gone from bad to worse while we were at the wellspring.
I'll take it.
Whatever was making the Asteric this plague
Okay.
You have received
I will. Is that better? I lose the mana on hits. I don't need the execute chance. It would be more powerful if I dual... Screw it, I'm dual wielding it. It won't make too much of a difference, and I'm definitely keeping the shield around. I don't need this cannon. Alright, so I've got a bunch of embers. Is there anything I want to put onto them? It's an electric thing. Actually, electricity will still keep being useful, so I might as well throw on an ember to that. And I'm gonna need a fair amount of frost... protection from ice, so throw that on there. What else can I get? Yeah, 3% to physical armor won't make much of a difference. That... Actually... Flat poison damage reduction? Not the worst. Might as well. I can get them back later, and I don't care too much about how much gold I've got. Alright, that should do it. Alright. Well, it'll give me something to do when I'm playing this later.
Glad you made it.